Hi everyone. It's been a very long time since I've done a video. I've been extremely busy with the site for the last couple of months. The 7th year anniversary of my brand, Conjured Cardea, was in November, and I have been pretty much booked solid since then. So I have not had a lot of time for videos. I did, however, on my business Facebook page, I often will ask people ideas of what they would like to read in a blog entry or what they would like to see a video about. And a very popular one this time was offerings to ancestors and the idea of foodstuffs as offerings. This is something that is not common in a lot of belief systems here in the United States, but it is extremely common around the world. There are many countries and many religions that have ancestor worship. So if you were to do some research, you would actually find that some of the major religions in the world that do not have this are actually in the minority. So it's very common. It's very foreign to us, this being a Christian nation, and so it's just not something that a lot of people even know about or hear about. They don't know anybody who does it. They don't know how to do it. So I want to sort of predecess this a little bit with how I think energy exchange works, energy flow, the channels that we have between other people and ourselves and ancestors or spirits or deities. I think that doing acts of service that's what offerings falls under, okay? And acts of service is the most important thing you can do in your spiritual path. On any spiritual path. I don't care what religion you are or what practice you have or cultural traditions. I think it's a very large part of life is to develop a practice of acts of service. So I think of life as a two-way street, and you do acts of service. I try to follow a motto in my life, that I don't do things for other people or give things to other people with the expectation of a thank you in return. You either want to help people and do things for people or give them something, or you don't. There's no guarantee in life that you're going to get a thank you when you try to help someone. And there's no guarantee that if you give them something, they're going to use it how you maybe thought they were going to use it. There is no guarantee on that. So a gift is a gift. So once you have released it, once you have removed that energy, and if it's money or anything, these are all forms of energy in our life. I think acts of service is just an exchange of energy. So once you help somebody out, there's nothing that says that they're not going to need help again, that they're going to use that help in the way you wanted them to, etc. So it's a two-way street. You're giving out, you're doing these acts of service because that is the energy that you want to put out, and you're clearing your pathway and making it more open and more wide by doing that, by practicing this exercise. It's a spiritual exercise, acts of service. And offerings is one of those. So when you set offerings on your ancestor altar, and you don't have to have an ancestor altar, you can have a small shelf or a corner of your house or whatever you have. Is there a guarantee? Are you doing it because there's a guarantee that whatever your question is, or whatever you're requesting, let's put it that way, whatever your petition is going to be answered? Is that why you have done this act? And I think that's why a lot of people do these acts in their spiritual practice, but that is the exact wrong reason you should be doing it. It's when you, as I said before, when you give something to somebody, we do quite a bit of, we have quite a few connections with some homeless people in the area. We have one that stays with us regularly. and he stays here, and he'll often, shovel snow or rake leaves or whatever. And I'll give him some money, and sometimes I'll give him some money just because he could use it. He has to eat and get around on public transit just like everybody else. And some people will say, well, how do you know he's not going to buy drugs with that? How do you know he's not going to buy alcohol with it? Well, I don't. Just the same way that if you loaned your friend money, maybe for a car repair or a bill they were behind on, do you know that that's what they're going to use it on? Are you there? Do you drive with them to the car repair place and stay with them the whole time until the car's repaired and watch the money go from their hand to the mechanic? You don't know. So it's kind of like that with offerings. You shouldn't do things, either you want to help out your friend or you don't. I personally like to help people. It's not, once the exchange of whatever has happened, which is, either money or maybe, food or something else that somebody needs. So that I am totally released from that. That was my decision to give. And what happens after that is completely not related to me at all. What they choose to do with it, what happens after, if they need more later, if they don't, none of that has anything to do with me, because it was my choice to give, because that's how I want to live my life. So offerings are very similar. You can't give them from a place that, I'm going to set this offering out here, but I expect this in return. And if I don't get it, I guess I'm just not going to help you out anymore. So it's really a poor attitude to have, and it really blocks up your channels. So I think there's channels in everybody's life, love, prosperity. I just think the energy sort of flows in these different areas. And when you don't exercise these channels, it's like having a two-way road. When you don't exercise them and you don't keep driving down them and making sure they're clear and making sure there's no potholes that need to be fixed, making sure there's no tree branches laying in the road. If you don't ever leave your house in your car to go down that road, well, then you don't know what's in the way of the road. So not only can you not get anywhere when you want to get somewhere, but anything else trying to get to you can't get to you either. So there's no love coming in or no prosperity coming in. It's because you haven't put forth the effort to clear your road. If you're sitting at home in your car, you're never going to have any opportunities. You're not going to have any opportunities to love someone or be loved. You're not going to have any opportunities to progress in your life in whatever areas you would like to progress in. So that's where the acts of service comes in. You have to actually get in your little spiritual car and drive down your spiritual avenue and make sure that there's nothing in the way. And how you do that is by doing offerings and acts of service to other people. And you can do it by volunteering. You can do it by, you're in line at the grocery store and somebody's short on their grocery bill, and you give them the money they need to cover that. Or if we all lived in a world where we only just stayed in our house and we didn't get out in our spiritual cars, it would be an extremely selfish world. And I know that a lot of times we feel like it already is an extremely selfish world. But if you could imagine a world where not one person at one time did anything for anyone else other than themselves, we would all just be sitting in our little spiritual houses, not going anywhere. You have to get out and make an effort. Offerings are part of that effort. It is a physical way to say, this is something from my realm, and I am offering it to your realm. And it is a sign of my gratitude. It is an aspect of Mojuba. So it is an offering of my gratitude, because this is what I have here that sustains me. And it is the highest form of what I can offer to also sustain you and to start to create a two-way avenue between us, between you and your ancestors. So people will often ask the question, well, do they actually eat the food? No. Your ancestors are not going to come eat the food. This is a symbolic way of opening your relationship and your pathways, your channel, your spiritual avenue, as I've been referring to it. This is this is an act. This is an act of service. Like I said, is there any way when you make other acts of service with people that you know for certain they are going to physically be receptive in the way that you want them to be, or the way that you think they should be, or the way that you assume that they should be? There isn't any way. You can't determine what somebody's actions are going to be once you have done the service. That's why you can't base the act of service solely on that. It's the same with ancestors. So just assume you're not going to see anything happen to that food. You're not going to wake up the next day and it's going to be all gobbled up. It's not like that. We do things in our spiritual systems that are acts of symbolism. You know, we use candles as a symbol of lighting our paths, lighting our goals. I mean, are we physically walking around with that candle, you know, lighting our way to our job for prosperity? You know, no, we're not driving in our car with that candle. It's symbolism. So you have to look at it like that. There are some people that believe that I put out offerings of rum almost every day for my spirits. It depends, well, excuse me, let me take that back. For the Orisha, some I don't. Like Obatala, I do milk and honey. Ogun, I just do water because he's sensitive to alcohol. So, you know, etc. These types of things. Some people believe that as the rum is evaporating out of the glass, that it is the spirits utilizing it. And I'm not gonna, I have obviously have no proof to refute that. What I do have proof of is evaporation. I do know evaporation takes place. So I would probably say that it's just evaporating. But there are lots of things that I believe in that I don't have a ton of physical scientific proof for. So I can't say that, you know, somehow it's not being consumed in some manner, in some spiritual realm or plane, in some spiritual way that I don't understand. There are many things in the world I don't understand. So that is, and I think I have covered this subject a little bit before on how to set an altar to ancestors. And I think that covered a lot of, you know, the actual setup of the basic altar and everything, and what types of things to put on it. So I don't want to rehash that too much here. You're more than welcome to look up that video. It's on my channel. You should be able to find it. I think it says, you know, basic, you know, ancestor offerings or basic altar setup, something like that. So that is my explanation of why we do offerings, and how that creates, starts to build a relationship for you. I have also used before the idea of using these offerings to build a relationship. It's like talking to your neighbors. If you never ever step out of your house and go talk to your neighbors, when you need something someday, it's an emergency, you're really having a hard time, and you go over there, they're going to say, well, who the hell are you? You've never talked to me before in my life. Well, offerings are a way to start that communication. You can't just show up to your ancestors or show up to the spirits and expect that they're going to answer your petitions when you have never done anything to create a relationship with them or open your spiritual avenues. So I think a big thing to keep in mind is to not expect anything from your spiritual work. I think expectation in life is, I think it's sort of confusing to people with spiritual work, that it's they think that it's supposed to be guaranteed, that if you do this, this is guaranteed to happen. There's nothing guaranteed in life. We're talking about, and I'm referring to spells there. Spells are a very, very tiny part of your spiritual path. They are almost, they are almost meaningless on the entire span of your spirituality, because you should be doing them so infrequently. I probably do a working for myself. I can't tell you the last time I did one, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. That is such a not important part of your spiritual path. What is important is your daily practice and developing this relationship and making sure your avenues are clear. So yeah, create a daily practice of offering. Do acts of service and get out there, leave your little spiritual house and get in your little spiritual car and drive down your road and make sure that it doesn't need to be cleared and that there's nobody along the road that needs a ride. There's nobody in the road who needs help. And clear your own avenues. Make it so you can reach others and they can reach you. And make it so you can reach your ancestors and they can reach you. But you have to put some effort into it first. So I hope that that helps sort of give a theory behind offerings. And if you have any ideas of videos you would like to see, you can comment below this video. You can always contact me through my Facebook business page, Conjured Cardia. I answer messages and emails all day long. My email is conjuredcardia@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. And thanks for watching.